Hello dear students, welcome back here. I'll be dealing with the NEET coaching session of the chapter Cell Cycle and Cell Division. In this chapter we are going to concentrate mainly on two types of cell divisions, that is mitosis, which occurs inside our somatic cells, and meiosis, it occurs inside our reproductive organs. Got it? Mitosis occurs in somatic cells. What is the somatic cell? Somatic cells are nothing but a type of diploid cell. What is the meaning of diploid cell? Simple, we write it like this. 2n. 2n is nothing but diploid. If you take any cell, if the total number of chromosomes are 46 in human beings, then these type of cells are called as diploid. So it is understood that in a cell, if 46 chromosomes are there, in other words, we can also call it as 23 pairs of chromosomes are present inside the cell, then these cells are called as diploid, and all diploid cells majority are somatic cells. What is the importance of somatic cells or function of the somatic cell? They play an important role in the giving the body shape, structure, and also they help in physiological functions of our body. Somatic cells are very important. That means 99.9% of the body contains somatic cells. Only 0.1% of our body contains haploid cells. That is nothing but called as germ cells. So we write haploid cells. Haploid cells always contain half the number of somatic cell chromosomes. 46 chromosomes in somatic cells. But the haploid cells, nothing but 23 chromosomes, not pairs, only 23 chromosomes. Half the number of actual 46 chromosomes, that is 23 chromosomes. So they are called as germ cells. Give good example for somatic cells. Neurons, or maybe the heart cell, or intestinal cells, stomach cells, or maybe pancreatic cells, etc. etc. Okay, that is mainly present in the important organs. So they all belongs to somatic cells and all are diploid, containing 46 chromosomes. Germ cells, they are present only in reproductive organs. If you take the reproductive organ, there are so many parts. The external genitalia, which belongs to female as well as males, or maybe the internal reproductive structures, mainly testis, that is the primary reproductive structure in the case of male, or ovary, that is the primary reproductive structure in the case of females. Okay, so these two important reproductive organ which produces the germ cells. In the case of male, let me just write the symbol of male in biology should be written like this. Male produces a tiny cell which contains only 23 chromosomes called as sperm. Or in the case of female, the symbol like this, she produces a huge, big, it is the largest cell in human beings. That is nothing but called as the ovum. It is the largest but haploid, not diploid. So it is a type of germ cell called as ovum. Okay. I'm going to explain it in detail after the introduction part of this chapter. Okay. So this is now called as the production of sperm in male and production of ovum in female is called as meiosis. It is a type of cell division. So mitosis is nothing but it is the production of more number of somatic cells from the somatic cell itself. In this case, the somatic cell which modifies and becomes germ-line cells and produces germ cells like sperms and ovum. Got it? Through a process called as meiosis. That's it. Okay. Now, interesting factor is how many cells do we have? We have 37.2 trillion cells. 37.2 trillion cells. It's huge in number. Got it? So we write 37.2 trillion cells. It is not million or billion, it is trillion cells. Now the question is, why we have 37.2 trillion cells? What is the reason behind it? Simple. How I survive? For my survival, what is required is physiological activity. Yes, the heart should work, that is, it should beat 72 times per minute. The brain should work. The brain actually takes care of metabolic activity. Even though metabolic activity takes place inside my stomach and the cells, but brain actually very important, which plays an important role in the thermoregulation. Okay, it maintains our body temperature, that is 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, so brain is active all the time. Then even actually take the pancreas. Pancreas synthesizes insulin or glucagon. Okay, or maybe like the intestine, which absorbs the nutrients from the food, that is digested food. So it has got different functions, right? Okay, so that is nothing but called as physiological activity. Let me write here. So because of this physiological activity, I survive. That's it. Got it? That is nothing but I am a type of life. I am a form of life. That's it. Okay. So which factor is important for this physiological activity? Simply physiological activity will not function or work. It requires certain precursors. Some signal should be sent. For example, to the heart cells, so the heart cells beats. Or maybe like some chemical should be sent to the brain, so the brain works. That is nothing but we need precursors, starters. Okay, so that starters are nothing but called as proteins. We have got infinite number of proteins. Who produces this infinite number of proteins, which is essential for the physiological activity? Cells, we write here. So let us imagine this is now the organ present in this human body, and I am going to take up only one cell. This particular organ contains millions of cells, but I am going to consider only one cell. So for our understanding, this is now cell membrane, and this is the nucleus. Yes. Inside the nucleus, what you see? You see the genetic material, that is nothing but called as the DNA. Got it? DNA is very long. In a human cell, what is the length of the DNA? That is 2 meters, approximately 6 feet. It is the length of the DNA present inside a tiny cell. Can you imagine it? Yes? Okay, we will talk about it later. This DNA is nothing but contains genes. We'll understand what is exactly gene in the DNA. Okay, all DNA cannot be, like if you take the starting point of the DNA till the end point of the DNA, all the sequences present in the DNA cannot be called as a gene. Okay, so gene is something else which has the ability to produce a protein. So let us imagine this is the gene present in the DNA which produces protein. A type of protein called as protein A, that is required for this activity. Or maybe somewhere else here, one more gene is there that produces another type of protein called as the protein B, or maybe another one protein C, protein D, protein E, protein F, whatever it is. Millions of proteins will be synthesized from a single cell. Yes, okay. I have got millions of proteins produced from a single cell. These millions of proteins is not sufficient to take care of all physiological activity. So we need the help of other cells. So this particular cell, to produce more number of proteins, now this cell, I am going to draw it here, okay, undergoes cell division, mitosis, simple, mitosis, that is nothing but it is producing its own copies. One cell now became 2 cells, and these 2 cells again undergoes mitosis to produce 4 cells, again undergoes and produces 8 cells, 16 cells, 32 cells, 64 cells, 128 cells, 256 cells. The number goes on increasing, and finally what you see is mass of cells, a cluster of cells, and these cells are produced from a single cell through a cell division called as mitosis. And all these contains the same genetic information, that is nothing but the DNA. Whatever the proteins which is synthesized from this cell will be synthesized by all these cells, because this cell is the parent cell. Yes, parent cell, and these 2 new cells produced from this parent cell also called as daughter cells. Parent cell produces daughter cell. When these 2 cells undergoes further mitosis, now they become parent cells, and these 2 becomes daughter cells. Again, when they undergo cell division, they are called as parent cells. The cycle repeats. It goes on like that. Got it? Okay, so all these cells now produces the same type of protein, that is protein A, protein B, protein C, protein D, that is the number of proteins increases. So all the cells are now contributing. So this is the main significance of cell division, mitosis. This is the reason why to contribute the proteins, like huge infinite number of proteins required for our physiological activities, we need huge number of cells. That is the reason why we have 37.2 trillion cells. All these cells are produced through a simple cell division that is called as mitosis. Easy? Okay, now we need to understand what is exactly this mitosis and meiosis. To understand this, the basic understanding, I have to tell you the story of human beings. Okay, now let me just divide the board. This particular part of the board belongs to males and this is for females. Okay, so I use yellow color to draw the diagram of a male. Okay, male. And imagine he is now in his adolescence stage, that is, he is reproductively active. So we just write RA, reproductively active. That means he is able to produce this, that is nothing but sperm. Okay, I use orange color for drawing the diagram of a female. Okay, female, and she is reproductively active. That means again she is able to produce a huge pig ovum. Okay, I use some terms here. Sperm, nothing but haploid cells. Sperms are nothing but haploid cells. Now we understood what is diploid cell, what is haploid cells. All somatic cells are diploid, that is containing 46 number of chromosomes in each cell. Whereas germ cells, that is sperm or ovum, whatever it is, they are germ cells. They are haploid, that is containing half the number of chromosomes that is present in the somatic cells, that is 23 chromosomes. See, 23 here, 23 here, chromosomes. Okay, now let us just imagine he has now started to produce these sperms. Where exactly these sperms are produced? Simple. In a tiny structure called as testes. All males will have a pair of testes. A pair of testes, that is, two testes will be there. Just right here. Testes. And these testes contain cells. Okay, now these testes contain cells. These cells are called as germ-line cells. Basically, they are from somatic cells, but now they have a bit modified, changed, because they are how to produce these haploid sperms. The function of a normal somatic cell now varies from these germ-line cells. Let me just write the name germ-line cells, which is present only inside the reproductive organ, that is particularly testes. If you take the female, that is the main or the primary reproductive organ is the ovaries. How many ovaries are there in a female? That is nothing but similar to testes. A pair of ovaries will be there in females. And again, here you see germ-line cells present in the ovaries. But now let me not discuss in detail. In the second year PUC, we are going to study human reproduction chapter. In that you will understand it in detail. We are concentrating only on mitosis and meiosis. Easy? Okay. So these germ-line cells. Let me just take only one germ-line cell. Okay. So one cell from the testes. And here also same thing. I am going to pick only one cell from the ovary. One cell. Okay. This is germ-line cell. This is also germ-line cell. And now here let me draw the nucleus. Here also nucleus, and this nucleus contains the chromosomes. So now the question is, how many chromosomes it has got? It has got 46 chromosomes, because still it is in its diploid condition. Let me write 2n for diploid, not haploid. This is also same thing. It has got 46 chromosomes, and that is nothing but again diploid condition. It is the initial stage of the formation of the haploid sperm as well as haploid ovum. Okay, now this cell somehow gets a message. Okay, the message let me just after the completion of this, let me just tell you how exactly cells undergo cell division. Who exactly initiate cell division? Okay, it gets a message from some other cells or maybe from the hormone or whoever it is. Okay, now it undergoes a division. Okay, so here it starts producing tiny structures, and it will produce 4 structures like this. All 4 tiny structures are nothing but called as cells. Which type of cells? Sperms. We call it as sperms. And all sperms contain nucleus. And nucleus contains chromosomes. But the number of chromosomes will be exactly half when you compare with the parent cell. These are all daughter cells. Because it undergoes a type of cell division called as meiosis or meiosis. Okay, it is also called as reductional cell division. Okay, reductional cell division, RCD. Okay, this is case number 1 for males. Here also same thing. These germ-line cells, which is present inside the ovary of the female, now produces huge cells after the process called as meiosis. All cells will have nucleus and the chromosomes, that is nothing but 23 chromosomes. But interesting here is, at the end of the meiosis, from the single germ-line cell, 4 ova will be produced. See, ovum single, ova plural. Okay, so out of 4, only 3 survives. Sorry, 3 degenerates, only 1 survives. Okay, 1 survives, 3 dies. Why? Because the fertilization in human beings takes place inside the body of the females. Just imagine, because of the meiosis of the germ-line cells in the female reproductive organ, and she produces 4 ova, and sperms enter into the reproductive organ of the female and fertilizes all 4 ova. Just imagine, she will be carrying 4 babies. It's very difficult actually. The uterus is not modified. Got it? It is modified in such a way to carry only single baby, embryo. Okay, it cannot care or take care of the 4 babies or embryos. That is the reason why it is a wonderful system in the female body. The 3 ova will degenerate and only 1 ova or ovum will develop. Okay, so this is the thing. You will understand it in the second year. Okay, so here this ovum contains 23 chromosomes. That is nothing but haploid cell. It is haploid cell. Now these sperms comes into contact with this ovum during sexual reproduction. Okay, and this is the sperm contributed by the father, that is male, and this is the cell which is contributed or given by this female. Got it? Which contain 23 chromosomes, that is in the ovum, and 23 chromosomes in the sperm. They mix up now, they combine, and ultimately you get a huge big cell that is formed inside the female reproductive tract, particularly called as fallopian tube. Okay, so here let me just use the orange color for female chromosome. So this is female chromosome. Okay, after fertilization. Now yellow color for the male chromosomes. How many chromosomes here? 23, and this is 23. They combine, that is plus. Now they combine, and inside the nucleus you see combination of both. Got it? So this is now contains 23 maternal chromosome. Maternal means, see the term maternal chromosome is nothing but the chromosomes are present inside the ovum, and paternal chromosome, this is paternal. Paternal chromosomes are nothing but the chromosomes present inside the sperm or gamete. See the name. It can also be called as gamete. Germ cells can also be called as gamete. Even the ovum is also can be called as the gamete. Got it? Okay. So finally, we have restored the original somatic condition. That is, the cell is now 2L. Now you understood. Meiosis is very, very important. Because if the sperm contains 46 chromosomes, each sperm contains 46 chromosomes, and each ovum contains 46 chromosomes, 46 plus 46, it will become 92. That is not a normal condition. It is abnormal condition. It is called as polyploidy. So this is polyploidy. Okay, so it is not good. It is nothing but not haploid, not diploid, not triploid, it is tetraploid. So tetraploid condition, it is not good. Got it? To avoid tetraploid condition, we want only diploid condition. That is, all human beings contains diploid cells. So to restore this diploid condition, the sperm will undergo meiosis, and this one, what you call this particular germline cells also undergo meiosis to produce the ovo, and in this case it produces sperms. Not sperms will not undergo meiosis. Okay, the germline cells present in the testis will undergo meiosis to produce haploid sperms. Haploid produces diploid. That is after fertilization, fusion. Okay, so after the fusion, now thing is, we need this condition. We don't know whether the sex is male or female of this baby. Got it? It is now single cell. We don't know. Okay. In future we'll understand it. Okay. Who decides the sex of the offspring? Father or mother? In human beings it is male actually, not females. Okay. So now this single cell called as zygote, which is diploid, containing maternal plus paternal chromosome, undergoes mitosis. Why mitosis? Because it has to increase the number. Okay. Because it has to form either this or this. Same. Human being itself. The offspring should be human being itself. Okay, as a result, you see, again, because of the mitosis, you see multiple copies of the same zygote, which is nothing but called as embryo. And this embryo develops further because of the mitosis. Again, each cell undergoes mitosis and produces a tiny creature like this. Does it look like a dog or cat? No. Correct. Humans will produce humans itself because they have given their characteristics through their chromosomes. That is, sperm contains father's characteristic and this ovum contains mother's characteristics. They are combined inside the zygote, and zygote undergoes mitosis containing, like, produces multiple copies of the same zygote itself. Okay, without altering the characteristics. So this baby will have 50% of father's characteristics and 50% of mother's characteristics. That's it. Because he is having mother's as well as father's genes. That's it. So now this is the 1 year baby. The size of the baby is tiny, very small. And now this baby has to grow because this baby has to enter into this stage, that is adolescent stage, that is reproductively active stage. It is compulsory. And now here he has got so many somatic cells now which undergoes rapid mitotic cell division. Got it? So finally he reaches this size. Now he is now reproductively active. That is, he has 37.2 trillion cells. But here in this stage hardly like 1 million cells. That is mitosis. So we need mitosis throughout our life. For example, if I fall down and get a tiny or like small injury, obviously to replace the damaged cells or lost cells, I need mitosis. That is, I need replacement. So somatic cells undergoes mitosis to replace it. That's it. Or maybe like if a human being is reproductively active and he has to produce sperm, or maybe like she has to produce ovum, then she has to undergo meiosis or he has to undergo meiosis to produce the gametes, germ cells. Done? So this is actually the important significance of mitosis and meiosis. Got it? Meiosis, mitosis. Okay. Now, how cells divide? Let us understand it. For that, let me just erase it. When and how a cell divides. Okay, it could be somatic cell division, that is nothing but mitosis, or it could be germ-line cell meiosis or cell division. Okay, to produce sperm or ovum, that is nothing but gametes. Okay, so we just write this word when a cell divides. To understand that, let me just use a human being. Okay, looks like monkey. Okay, whatever it is, mammal. Monkey, human beings, both are same because of evolution. Fine. So here, let me just take out a single cell from an organ. It is easy. Okay, I have drawn that cell here, a big cell, and it has got nucleus and the chromatin, that is your DNA, everything is there. Now, when exactly this cell undergoes cell division? Not all the time. For example, let us imagine that, okay, he has got a damage here, okay, injury. to replace. So during that injury or accident, he has lost some cells. So we need replacement. Okay, replacement in the sense that is nothing but the cell should undergo mitosis, not meiosis. Replacement. Got it? Only mitosis is possible. So here, let me just tell you, there are three types of possibilities that could tell this cell to undergo cell division. If that three signaling pathways doesn't work, this cell will remain as it is. It will not undergo mitosis. So there is no replacement for this lost cells or injured cells. So let us understand that. Let me write a first word called as autocrine signaling. Autocrine. Second one is paracrine. And the third one is endocrine. Our body is a dynamic system actually. Okay. So we have so many systems. This cell now should undergo mitosis to produce 2 cells, and again 2 cells undergo mitosis to produce 4 cells. Like we need a huge number of cells to replace the lost cells, like occur due to injury or accident. Correct? That is mitosis. Okay. So here the signal who tells this cell to undergo cell division. This is very important. So it's like starting point. Starting point is very important. Okay. So that starting point could be autocrine signaling, paracrine signaling, or endocrine signaling. So we need someone to send the signal to this cell. Okay. So based on that we can classify them into signaling the pathways into 3 types. Autocrine. First one, autocrine. What is this autocrine? Okay. Now this is the cell and its neighbor cells, friends. These friend cells, they are lost due to the accident, injury. So lost, gone. Now he has to take the responsibility to replace them. For that, he produces a tiny chemical that is nothing but protein. Again, protein. Gene will produce the protein. This protein now comes out of this cell. He produces protein. This cell produces protein from his gene. Okay, this protein now comes out and again binds to the same cell. Okay, and this protein now somehow enters into the cell and again binds to the DNA. And this DNA now tells the cell to undergo cell division. That is mitosis. So this type of signaling pathway which helps this parental cell to undergo mitosis is called as autocrine. Got it? So chemical is produced from the same cell. Okay, and it is telling himself that okay, it is the time to undergo cell division. So if the chemical is produced from the same cell which binds to the same cell and tells the cell to undergo cell division, that is mitosis, then it is called as autocrine signaling. Got it? What is paracrine? Okay, again the second condition. Now this is a cell from pancreas, and let me draw one more cell, that is the neighbor cell of this cell which is in the pancreas itself. Pancreas, 2 cells. This cell is unable to undergo cell division. Some like system, autocrine signaling is failed in this cell. But this cell is the neighboring cell of this cell and it now produces a protein, a type of chemical. This protein now binds to this cell. So this protein is now produced from some other cell, the neighbor cell, and now it binds to this and tells this cell to undergo cell division. So it produces 2 daughter cells. So if the signal is from the neighboring cells telling this cell to undergo mitosis, then it is called as paracrine signaling. Got it? So without autocrine or paracrine, a cell will never undergo mitosis or meiosis also. Somebody should be there. Now last one is endocrine. What is this endocrine? Here let us assume that both autocrine and paracrine signaling pathways are not working for a type of cell. So let us just assume this is the cell in any organ of our body and this cell is not listening to autocrine as well as paracrine. It's not like listening, so that it cannot undergo cell division. But we need this cell to undergo mitosis to produce more number of cells. So we need the help of certain endocrine glands. Can you name some endocrine glands? Pituitary, hypothalamus, thyroid. These are all endocrine glands. Yes, they produce only hormones. Yes, what are hormones? Hormones are nothing but proteins or some chemicals. Got it? Okay. So these hormones are released from a particular endocrine gland. Let us assume that in the pituitary, it is present at the base of the brain. The pituitary now releases a type of hormone. This hormone, let me just draw that hormone. So this is the structure of the hormone. Now this hormone enters into the bloodstream, blood vessel. Okay, then the blood carries this hormone to the targeted cell. So finally this hormone comes and binds to that cell. Now this hormone now tells this cell to undergo cell division. So it undergoes cell division. So we need signaling pathways. Got it? Without signaling pathway, a cell cannot undergo mitosis or meiosis. This is the basic to understand. So we have got the answer for this question. When exactly a cell undergoes cell division? When these signaling pathways works, then only a cell can undergo cell cycle or cell division. Got it? Now we need to understand cell cycle. Before that, we need to understand the structure of chromatin. So inside the nucleus there is chromatin. Yes. What you just what picture comes to your brain when I say chromatin? DNA. Is there anything along with the chromatin or DNA? So let us see that. Okay, so we'll erase it and let me just show you some models. At least you get the idea. Okay.